Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chroma Awards live stream. Before we start, I want to tell you now submissions for our Chroma Awards are now open until November 3rd. And for the redeeming code, you can visit our website. And we are live streaming regularly throughout the competition on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and also on Wednesday at noon, 12 p.m. Pacific time. And during these live streams, we will share updates, answer your questions, and host conversations with our competition sponsors, community partners, and awesome creatives in this AI space. And today we are joined by LTX Studio. So welcome, Tom. Welcome, Asaf.
Hi, everybody.
And Brian, welcome. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Okay. At the same time, we are streaming on YouTube, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Well, feel free to type any questions on our live stream. We mostly are on YouTube, so if you can type in your question over there, we'll be able to answer you immediately. And now let's start with Brian. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into it?
Sure. Yes. So in the from the before AI times, I have been a post-production producer for scripted TV shows for a couple of decades, maybe plus, working on shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly, and Once Upon a Time, among others. And I have seen a lot of technical innovation over the years, and I've seen many things uh, materialize that we had not seen before, and I've seen many things become obsolete. So this world of AI that I've been looking at for about the past 2 years is, I feel like, one more thing, and but a big thing in that continuum, for sure. It's definitely when they were switching from film to video, for instance, they weren't having there wasn't quite as many parties and big think talks about like what this future of digital was going to be like we have now. So it's really kind of an exciting time with all of that.
Hmm. And do you have something that you want to show us today?
Oh, well, let's see, possibly. I guess we can get right to it. Like one of the things that I'm working on right now is I'm working with the ETC at USC. They're doing two projects this year. One of them is a fully AI generated project, and one of them is an AI and live action hybrid project. So it's really built on the same kind of idea that we did on Once Upon a Time, where it's tracking captured on set, a preliminary 3D model created before shooting so that you have a rough sketch of the place where you're going to be. And then in the end, you would do a CG render. And so what we're going to do is an AI render. So here, I think I might be able to share a little piece of that, which is kind of fun and probably will beg some questions. So let's see.
Okay. Let me know when you are sharing the screen.
I think it should be working.
Okay, let me bring it up for you.
All right, so this is an example of, this is what the rig looks like. So it's Lightcraft Jet Set, which is actually a free app, and you can download it on the App Store. And it was developed by a guy named Elliot Mack, who, as it turns out, developed the same system that we used on Once Upon a Time and V back in 2009. So this is what used to be a whole brain table on set with specially rigged stages. Now you can have kind of a relatively poorly lit green screen with nothing else special on the stage, and then all of the tracking data comes inside the JetSet app. So this is what the rig looks like. This is shooting with the Blackmagic camera app on an iPhone and then running JetSet on the other phone. But the cool thing about it is that it's actually camera agnostic. The other camera does not have to be a phone. It could be whatever camera you want to shoot with. It could be Red, Venice, you name it. So then let's see, this is an example of one of the green screen shots that we got.
Mhm.
And then on the day, in the other like you can see in this previous slide, you can see it's creating a temp comp in real time.
So question, like for the
Yeah.
on the right hand side with what we see
Oh,
in the
sorry.
camera. So for the background,
Hmm.
are those like from Unreal Engine, or what are we looking at
So,
for
yeah,
the
something
background?
like that. It's a pre-made low polygon 3D model. So you have just a facsimile of what the space is going to be. So if you've got architecture, if there's arches, or if there's walls or doors, things that people are going to be going through, things that need to be blocked out so that they don't walk through them because it's CG, then you can get an idea with what it's going to look like from there. So it's great for the directors to be able to pre-visualize, right, what roughly what the framing is going to look like. It's great for the actors if they have a stand-in, go stand where they go, and then they come back to Video Village and they can see actually what it is that's going to be, a rough estimation of the space that they're going to be in.
So you mean the actors can also see? That means like when you record, like let's say do a
Yeah, I
shot,
mean they can't see it
they
while
can
they're doing the
already see.
shot, but they can get a stand-in to like get an idea of where they are, so it's not a full green screen day imagination. So this
Gotcha.
is an example of one of the shots, and then this is an example of what Lightcraft is kind of giving you. This particular set is a bamboo forest, so it might not be the best representation, but it gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. And then they go and they make a more refined Blender model that is this comes later after the shoot. And then let's see, what do I have next? Oh, so then this is where we get to the AI part. This is where they
Okay.
would normally go in and create a detailed render of the 3D. But instead, we're doing something that probably a lot of people here are familiar with. We're taking the first frame, and then we're going to restyle the first frame. So this is using Flux and a custom LoRa that they made based on the production designer's art. And then, so this is an idea. This is one of the chosen, like none of these are final yet, but this is one of our first promising renders of style transfer of the environment. So then, let's see. So then this is the Blender render that now we're going to do the first frame style retransfer of the background. And then that comes out looking like this. This is a version of it. So we still see problems with it, like the water is moving too fast here and things like that. But what's very promising is like, look at the bamboo in the foreground and just the way, this is a simple camera move and it's not that big of a deal, but it is not a nodal camera move. It's moving around in 3D space like this. And then this, what I'm about to show you is not a final comp whatsoever, but it is a temp comp just to show like how she tracks into the space with the thing. So this is an example of a work in progress of what we're working on there. And this is one of what would be, we'll have about, I think, 60 shots in 4 different locations in this project.
Wow, I think this looks really cool. Like you said, the style transfer. So you got the blender, that's like the input, right?
Yes. Oh, actually, there's more to it than that. So the cool thing that they're developing now that we get to be there while they're putting together is, so this goes to editorial. The editorial has the facsimile comp so that when they're cutting, they also don't have to be looking at green screen. They can have some idea of the architecture of where they're putting the things. And then it goes, then once they lock the picture, then we can make an EDL and an OTIO and send that to a piece of automation that's being written that goes and grabs all the original camera masters, names them what they need to be named, puts the 10 frame handles on them, puts them in a folder where we need them to go. But then it also goes to Jet Set and it grabs the 3D model and it grabs all the tracking data that goes with it and it compiles it all and brings it into a Blender project per shot. So everything is ready to work on and go in and grab the first frame and get to your AI generating portion of it.
So Brian, so earlier you mentioned about EDL and some some terms. I would love you to maybe explain to our audience a little bit so they can have an idea like what is that like?
Oh, so well, that's a technical post-production term. So an EDL is an edit decision list. It's similar to an XML, which I think some other nonlinear editors kick out. And now there's a new one that's out that everybody wants to adopt, which is OTIO, which is Open Timeline oh God, I don't remember what the IO is. Maybe probably just IO. Anyway, but that's one that all of the major nonlinear editors are able to work with some version of importing and exporting. But what it is a list that I think it was developed in the 70s, where it was originally made for tape. Go find this time code on the tape, and from this time code to that time code, put this piece in the timeline, and then go to the next one. So now, if your original footage has time code associated with it, you can go pull those things. So if you're working with proxy, and then you need to pull your high definition or high resolution footage in, the EDL is what points to that for you, so that you can, in an automated way, put it together.
So following this question, because we are seeing now, like AI, when AI comes in, so how's the integration, like when AI comes in, like what's the difference between the traditional post-production workflow comparing to this new one that you just implemented?
Well, one thing that's funny, that like if you're working on a fully AI generated project, it's funny that it's kind of backwards. You don't, I mean, at least the current state of technology, because you can only get 8-bit and 1080. And so if you want to make 4K, you didn't shoot a 4K master. It doesn't exist. So you have to go and you start with your output from whatever AI tool you've used is an 8-bit 1080 output at best as of this date today. And then when you want to go make your final version of it, you need to find a recipe for upscaling. So that's actually another part of this that we're actively working on right now, because you see we have our subject, our main actor, was shot in 4K. So the puzzle that we're trying to figure out is what we're going to do is we're not going to touch our actors, and we're going to try to bring these backgrounds that we've generated from 1080 to 4K and in the best light possible. And so we're looking at the best recipes of topaz and whatever right now that's going to give us that. And then it's going to go into Nuke for further compositor zhuzh, I guess is the best word for it.
To make the feed. I see.
Yeah.
So what are some like key challenges when you think like of filmmakers when they're trying to adopt AI? Like how do you help them to overcome this kind of problem, like when they are facing AI for the filmmakers?
Well, I think that's okay. I have thought about this, and it's you all saw the Netflix guidelines that came out recently, where here's what you can do and here's what you can't do, and mark my words, I said it here today. We'll see if this is what actually truly ends up happening. But I have a theory because it's approved now for temp. Like you can do temps, and I think people are going to start to do temps, and they're going to start to make better and more advanced temps than we used to be able to make in the editing room. And that's going to make the cuts look better when they send it to the studio and when they send it to whoever else is going to be watching it. It's going to be more impressive to the producers, more impressive to the director. And I think the tipping point is going to be as the quality gets better. Or let me preface by saying it isn't going to be by me pushing it or the studio pushing it or anybody on this call pushing it. I think the tipping point is going to be quality is going to get better and better and better of the outputs. Like maybe we will be to 4K, maybe we'll be to 10 or 12-bit coming soon, color space with our outputs that we can make. And then filmmakers are going to get comfortable with using it in temp. And as they become more comfortable with it and it's being used in temp, we're going to reach the day when someone is going to say, I liked what we had in temp. That's fine. Do we have, or do we have to do the other, do we need to do something else? Or they're going to do a visual effect in the old fashioned way and it's going to come out. And then the director's just going to say, you know what? I don't like it. I like the temp better, which is a long time thing from film production. The world of temp love. It happens with music. It happens with anything. It's like you put that in for temp, and then you have the composer try to replace it with something else, or you had Led Zeppelin in the temp, and you can't afford that, and you have to use something else, and then the director says, it's like, I'm sorry, I cannot live without Led Zeppelin, so you have to go clear it, or something like that, that ends up being expensive. In this case, it wouldn't be, but that, I think, is going to be the tipping point. It'll be that type of a thing.
So you're saying that for the visual effects, like this Thames might also do the same thing.
That's right.
I see.
That, and then also, I think something that is possible now, especially with Nano Banana and some of these other things, where you're able to use a lot of different references. Um, Something that I've thought about is one of the things that I'm responsible for in my role as a post producer is the reshoot and insert and pickup list. So we're going through and saying, we need a shot of the paper on the table that says this, and we need a shot looking out the window or something like that. I think as the quality of these things improve, and you can use your 3 hours of dailies from the day as reference data, we might be able to make some of these shots without going back on the stage. We might be able to create an insert shot with a phone and some playback material of like someone getting a text message, if that's an important story point that we need to cut to, but we don't have the prop anymore, and we don't have the set anymore, and we don't have the actor anymore.
That actually sounds really impressive because all of us, if we ever working in the film environment, we definitely know that reshoot it cost a
Yeah.
lot, right? So I
Um,
think this is definitely a plus.
Yeah, and it's not. Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes the things that the directors and producers are asking for is that, the answer is under the circumstances just no. So you have to live without it. So if I have more paths to yes when I'm working on a show, then I want to have those paths available to me.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to the next question because we're seeing now you're working with some major studios for this live action and AI hybrid projects. And
Yes,
yeah,
without
and
naming names, some
yeah, but
studios have. Oh, go. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, the later part of the question is, so can you share some insights of the future of this hybrid filmmaking and the role of AI in it?
Well, that question was where I was going to show this part with the thing that I showed already, but
Oh, yeah.
that I think is it, and this is also something else that I can't share, but it's for a friend that is doing a trailer, and the trailer is shot at a real high school where they got actors and they got a location and stuff, but what they didn't have the budget for is tons of extras populating the background. So I didn't know if I could do it. I wish I could show it to you today, but I can't because I can't share it yet. But we did a thing where using Nano Banana, and I'm not even sure which video model I used, created like a background that had all of the extras walking around in it, and then we did similar to what we did here, but without starting with green screen. We had to do a little bit of roto using DaVinci Resolve's new Magic Mask tool, which is a pretty cool thing, where it works a lot like SAM, if you've used SAM, where you can just click on the item and it does a pretty good job of isolating it. So these shots that I did were created with, so we still have a 4K foreground, we still have a 4K background, and then we have the 1080 people, but they're in the deep background, so it's forgivable. If you zoom in on if you zoomed in on a 4K person that was that size, they would all also be degraded to a certain point. So I
Mm,
think that kind of thing. It's the thing I was talking about. Whatever the opposite of the death by a thousand cuts, whatever it is, it's going to be one chance to take a shortcut here and an improvement there and an enhancement there. I'm not sure that there's going to be a sweeping day of change. It's going to be, in 3 years or whenever we'll wake up and we'll say, "Hey, wow, like we're using this in everything." Kind of. I'm old enough to have seen where productions didn't have email. Like we didn't have email, and only the most richest producers had cell phones. Everybody else had pagers, and then there was a tipping point where all of a sudden everything was on email, and it seemed like it was not very quickly paper scripts being distributed to the whole world. That was suddenly gone. So I feel like that this change is going to be one like that. It'll be small and incremental and widespread, and every specialist I think involved is going to find their own new workflows and tools involved.
mhm. Yeah, I think it's really fascinating that you just share with us like some different use cases, and they're kind of slowly having impact on this.
Yeah.
And for the next question, like, what advice would you give to some post-production professionals or the AI artists who kind of want to specialize in this? Like, what advice do you have for them?
Okay. Well, for post people, I would say, well, go up 2 levels first. I think there's two big conversations going on. There's the legality and ethics conversation, which I think is one that stops a lot of people. They're like, well, I don't want to touch it or look at it because legality and ethics. And then there's the artist, technician, and craftsman conversation, where my opinion is that I am not a lawyer or a studio or a business person in that sense. It's not for me to figure out the legalities and the ethics of it. But what I do know, and I'm pretty sure of, is that it is not going away. And there will be a day when these powerful tools will be, as we've seen from Netflix already, approved for certain use. And on the day which is, I guess the day is past now. So on the day when they are approved for certain use, then it's on us to know how to use them. And we can't wait until that conversation is over. So that's what I say, is to start using and playing with things. And then I guess for the AI artist side of things, if they wanted to get involved in traditional production as they're adopting these things, is keep doing what you're doing, make your reels, do your postings on social media, but also at the same time, learn to use a nonlinear editor, learn to do some traditional compositing, because that's actually been something that's been fun for me in the space, is having just like the minimal of traditional compositing skills can make all the difference in a shot that's almost there, so that you don't have to go back to generating. So while the 2D compositing might be a time-consuming thing, it may not be nearly as time-consuming as prompting all afternoon to try to get that thing that's slightly different than the almost perfect one.
I think that's a great point you just said, because for the generated stuff, it's not in layers, right? So we can only hit that reroll button.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Mm-hmm.
can roto it a bit and do some compositing, and so you can do it a traditional way, like even way faster, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because I did use Nano Banana in this one of the school backgrounds that I was telling you about. We did a shot where it's outside, and I generated it before I did the motion on it, an impossibly huge green screen. I said, just like put a huge green screen in the background behind everybody. So it's like people that are this big in the frame then are like, just like this impossibly huge green screen is in the background. So then they were easily cut out so that the 4K background and everything didn't have to get degraded, and we could just kind of drop them in there.
Okay. Wow. All right. So now we're moving on to our last question for this session for Brian. So when it comes to the creative process, what advice do you have for the creative process when trying to adopt AI?
Oh, I mean, I think that I think it's kind of like it's a little bit the answer above about the tipping point. I think that it's going to be a slow process, and it's going to be different departments are going to use it. I think some directors are going to start using it, and I think some directors are possibly to make traditional hybrid projects are going to come from the space. So. I think it's the one about the tipping point, about the quality getting better, and then it being of a quality that it could be used for final, and then I think it's of the curiosity and experimentation. Just be using it, just be playing with stuff. I think with a lot of computer programs and things like that, there's different levels of fear going on, where I think there's a fear of messing something up, or hitting the not being able to hit the undo button on something, and so you can't really break anything doing this stuff. So you can only learn how it works and what you can do with it, and and even possibly more importantly, what you can't. Currently, with the current state of things, since there is so much hype about the the people in the halls of studios asking the question, "Can't you AI that now?" And the answer to many of the questions is not really in how you're thinking, possibly. So
And you figure that out by playing with it a lot, right? By testing
yeah,
a lot with it. So you
playing
know
it or seeing what other people are do with it when tasked with a certain. It's like, can you? It's like, well, I don't know. I've never tried it. So let's see what that output looks like. And then it's like, sometimes it's like, oh well, that's potentially promising. And then sometimes it's like, oh well, that did not turn out very well. Um, like something that is it Aleph or Aleph? I'm not sure. The new runway thing. The cool thing that it does is you can actually ask it to, you can create a clean plate in a moving shot. So like this one I was showing you, where there's that background in here that was captured from Jet Set. You can take a piece of footage that's already made and then tell it to erase the people and then just have the background. And then you can then take that background and then restyle it and then do a little roto of the people, like I was talking about doing before. So that's a potentially promising output, but it's incorporating your original 4K footage with something generated, not being something fully generated.
I see. That's a great mindset. And thank you, Brian. And
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is fun.
thank you for sharing with us. So now we are moving on with LTX Studio. So welcome again, Asaf and Tom. Welcome here to be with us.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Okay.
So are we giving sort of the context, or are we diving straight into the platform?
I think it's you can maybe introduce the platform a little, and then we can dive into it. You can show everybody like what's like how the platforms look like.
Sure. Asaf, you want to introduce the platform?
Yeah, so basically, LTX Studio is meant to bridge the gap between what you can imagine and what you can create. I don't know how many of the people viewing this or anything would relate, but I personally peaked at art school at stick figures, and I can't really do anything more, but I still have an imagination and I have a story to tell. And using LTX, I've been able to bring that out into the wild, let's say, and really get some stories out there. And this is what we aim to do, to let everybody be able to create whatever they can imagine.
Okay. At the same time, I want to like introduce LTX Studio again, because this time you are our gold sponsor. You did give our audience like a lot of the good stuff, I believe. And then you are also doing our drama and romance category. Yes. All right. At the same time now, if you want to screen share to LTS Studio. Yeah,
I do.
All right. Let's see this amazing platform. Give me 1 sec, let me bring this up.
Great. So now it's visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully most of the participants, or all of them, most of the participants are planning to take part in the competition and create amazing content with LTX Studio. And we wanted to give you a quick glimpse and how-to and an introduction to the platform, so your journey in the product will be much smoother. We don't have a lot of time for this. The platform is rich with features and capabilities, so I'm just going to focus on how to quickly generate both images and videos with the different types of models that we have in the platform. This is the home screen. You can start by creating a storyboard, or open a timeline editor, or start by generating assets. Each action that you do basically opens up a project, and the projects are all visible here. in the project screen, also in the sidebar. Going back to the home screen, I will now open the Gen space here. And as you can see, we've now opened the project. I can name it. Let's call it Hello. And I have a dedicated Gen space, storyboard, and timeline for this specific project. Here in the Gen space, I can generate images and videos. The platform helps you get the best results. You don't have to be a master prompter. I myself am a very lazy prompter. So even if you write something super random and short, like a man and a woman on a bridge at night, you will get 6 different results.
So just
Each one-
curious,
Yeah.
but so the system automatically improve your prompt, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
So there's a basic rule here. The more general you are, the wider the selection is. The more specific you are with your prompts, you'll be closer to your intent. Now I can specify camera angles. I can specify weather. I imagine most of the attendants here are familiar with prompt writing. What else do we have here? We have the option to choose presets for shot types, just as a quick, easy win for picking the right camera angle. Same here. I can choose a style from a variety of presets that we have here, from cinematic, storyboard sketch, retro, dreamy, hand-drawn, film noir, anime. I can upload a style reference here, but I'll get to those uses next. I can choose a location, and I can choose the ratio: landscape, square, and portrait. Now, the image models that we have in the platform are Flux for basic image generation, and Flux Context and Nano Banana for image editing. Here, I can upload different images and use them. So I'll show you how to take several references. Let's say I'm taking this guy, adding another friend here in this guy.
And that was just a simple drag and drop from your folder into the ref,
Yes.
right?
I can either upload from my computer, or I can even drag one of the results here, and you can see the options. Use as an image ref, the first, the second, and the third. And I can even upload another one, just a nice gradient I found. As you can see, I have 3 image references. Now it's trial and error. Basically, I can use Nano Banana here and say, make it a selfie shot on iPhone of the 2 men wearing a fluffy jacket in this gradient color. I don't know if I'm writing the best prompt ever, but I do know this is a great starting point to get 3 options, 3 variations of the same request. If one of them, great. If I need to iterate more, I can do that as well. But already straight out the bat, I got 3 really nice options. This is for image generation. The same goes if I want to take, again, this image, and I can choose Flux here and ask, change the shirt color to red. Really easy and intuitive platform. Again, you don't have to be the best prompter or instructor. You'll get a good result because we make sure of it behind the scenes. Now, when it comes to video, I can do it like this. I can either click on create video. By the way, we can upscale the image before, we can download it, and we can keep on iterating. But if I want to create a video, when I click create video, by the way, let's take this one. When I click create video, I am now in the video generation tab. This is the image, this is the video. Here we have several models. As you can see, it's either LTXV, our own in-house trained model, built on speed for quick iteration, amazing functionality. You can either choose LTXV Turbo, which is super fast and light, or LTXV, which is a bit slower, just a tiny bit, but it's also super quick and you have additional controls. Or you can choose either of Google's VO's model. VO2 image to video, VO3 and VO3 fast. It's either image or text to video with audio. If you don't choose VO, we also offer audio generation for LTXV and LTXV Turbo based on the video that was generated. So you'll get unique sound for that shot as well, without speech.
Wow.
When I use LTXV, again, all I need to do, choose the shot length from 3 to 30 seconds. I can choose whether I want sound on or off, how intense the motion is, and the aspect ratio. For the sake of the demo, I will choose LTXV Turbo, and all I need to do is write the two-man smile for the camera as the camera tilts up. When I use LTXV, I'll get 4 options, super quick. If I choose VO, I get 1. As you can see, it's now rendering, and I can see the preview while it's generating, so I'll know that I get different variations of that same request. But in no time, I get 4 variations of that same shot. Super fast if you're trying to find the right shot and you need quick iterations and just test out different creatives. I would suggest using LTXV Turbo or LTXV. If you need something more final pixel or the final shot based on your trial and errors, you can choose VO3. Can we zoom into the demo slightly? The screen is difficult to see. Let me try.
Let me see. Demo.
So as you can see, I didn't have to write a really long prompt. It's super simple and intuitive, and it handles prompt adherence really well. If I want to use keyframes, meaning start frame and end frame, all I need to do is drag another option from here to the end frame placement. A good way to do that is by taking a frame from here, clicking on iterate, then change the camera angle to a top shot. Let's use Nano Banana here and Flux, just so we have additional options. But basically working with image iteration and then using those different iterations as keyframes is probably the best way to work. Now I can go to video, drag this new result, and I can guide my creative with start and end frame. Again, this is only relevant for LTXV and LTXV Turbo. With VO, we still don't offer keyframe control. When I'm done and I have a bunch of assets I'm ready to work with, either by editing it into a rough cut or using it for a storyboard, all I need to do is go to the next workspace, click on blank storyboard, and now I can add more placements in the storyboard, click on edit in GenSpace, and just as you can see here, I have apply to shot 1, I can see my storyboard placements here and populate those frames one by one. It's either frames or shots. All I need to do is click on the selected shot, apply to shot 1, and I can do this for apply to shot 2. I can add placements here simply by hovering over the plus sign. Add a shot, add a shot. Let's use this weird example here. Apply to shot 3, and just for the sake of the example, apply to shot 4. When I'm done and I click on apply changes, I have my storyboard here with the prompts, either the instruction or the original prompt. Now, if I want to take it a step further, I can click on timeline, click on import storyboard. And when I do that, I import the assets from the storyboard in the same order they are placed in the storyboard. Then I can trim, reorder, and cut. I can even zoom in on the timeline. That's for assets. I can also click here on my assets. And I have either all the assets from this current project, or I can go to previous projects or all projects and have my entire assets, both image and video selection, so I can use them in this timeline editor. If I want to add audio, all I need to do is click on sound or voiceover. I'll zoom in again. When I click on sound, I can choose between soundtrack or sound effects. In soundtrack, I can either search for music, not generated, it's from a stock provider. If I want to choose, let's say, rock, I have the drop down based on that genre, but it can also be themed. So I can choose horror. And I can hear it. If I'm happy with it, it's added to the timeline. We have 5 audio channels here and 2 video channels. If I want to go back and choose a sound effect, I can click on bark.
And you said these are licensed music and sound effects?
From the
Yes.
stock providers.
Okay. Cool.
And I can hear the
Thank you
sound
for
effects,
pushing.
and it's added here in the second audio channel. If I want voiceover, by the way, I can also upload files, both for music and sound effects. Just drag and drop here and use them in the timeline. If I want voiceover, I can choose a narrator or the character, hear how they sound.
You have no idea how much power you hold in the sound of your voice.
I chose this Delilah preset, and then I'll write, hello, everybody. It's generating. I can hear it as a preview by clicking the play button.
Hello, everybody.
And then I can insert it into my timeline. When I use voiceover, I also see the script of that voiceover, and I can place it wherever I want. That's how you use the timeline editor. You can go back to the storyboard, add additional assets, go back to the gen space, and use it as well. Each storyboard shot or placement opens up a new session here. So if I go back here to the storyboard, here's the top menu for those of you who are having a hard time to see the screen. I'm in the storyboard, and I click on the plus and click on prompt. When I click on edit in gen space, I'm now in the shot 5 session, or I can click on new session here and populate shot 5. So everything is neatly organized, so you'll have easier time to find the relevant assets for each shot. When I'm done, I have several options to export or to share. The first one is from the timeline. I click on share, and I can share this project by entering the email of those who I want to share it with. Choose permission level, viewer, editor, or owner, or I can just copy the link to the project and send it. What this means is that you can work simultaneously on the same project with collaborators. That depends on the subscription tier you're in. Another option is to either download it as a video from the timeline based on my timeline editing with the cuts, reorders, and different audio layers, or I can download the video from the storyboard. No editing, it's just cut to cut, the shot length I chose in advance, and I will get an assembly of that shots. Additionally, you can download the entire project as a package with an XML file. So if you're used to working with Premiere or DaVinci, you can upload the XML file to those software for easier editing in external softwares. That's roughly how you work with LTX Studio. My advice to you all is to start with the GenSpace, start playing with different types of prompts, shorter, longer, see how the platform reacts. When you use longer prompts with more specifics, you'll get much better results. And then you can play with different iterations. Using Nano Banana or just keeping Flux for iterations works really well when you're trying to work with start frame and end frame. That's like pro tip. Sounds intuitive, but it gives you really, really good results. That's it. Any
That's
question?
Sure. Well, I think the storyboard function looks like really unique. It really stands out from the other different platforms. And is there any like specific features you think are most impactful for the creative professionals?
For creative professionals, first of all, the option to export with an XML file and the folder with all the assets that were generated, that's super time-saving and helpful.
Because you
Also, if I'm just playing around with the concept and I don't want to commit and use the more, let's say, high token cost models, using LTXV, as you saw, it gives really decent results. Sometimes we use it for final output when we work with different creative studios. I really encourage you to use LTXV wherever you can because it can save you time, credits, headache, and attention disorders because when I'm waiting for a shot to generate, I go do something else and I forget where I am at when I come back. Here you saw we did it live. It reacts really well, and you can really test 12 different options in a matter of like 30 seconds.
That's really amazing. Super fast.
Yes.
And next question, what are some of the most innovative or surprising ways that you've seen some users utilizing LTX Studio in their projects? Anything you can share with us?
Yes. So I think Asaf shared the link for a short film one of our team members created, and a really useful tip he gave us, and we didn't think of it before, was using VO3 or VO3 Fast with text to video to create content. What do I mean by that? Is he generated an image of a Kyrgyzstan desert, and he didn't have characters in it. Then with the text prompt, he wrote 3 farmers from Kyrgyzstan dressed in a certain way, a lot of details, enter the frame, stand, and talk. When he did that, he basically saved a lot of time in character description because he created 3 characters that once he had them in a video, he could screen grab a frame, and then use either Flux Context or Nano Banana and iterate on that frame. So if I use, let's say I want to create, let me go back to the previous project. I'm in a different session, sorry. Let's say we want to create a wide shot of the desert. And let's not do it square. Okay, let's take this one. Now I want to create a video, and I will use VO3 Fast. The trick is I can write something like a futuristic green and blue car drives through the frame across the desert. Now, basically, I can use the strength of this model to generate objects or characters or any element I want to have in my project without me trying to figure out the best, most amazing prompt to make it happen. Once I get that in a shot, I got a shot, but I also got a frame because I can choose whatever frame I want from that specific shot, extract that, and then use either Flux Context or Nano Banana to create additional angles or shot types and basically create better consistency throughout my project. So this is a very useful tool I encourage you to use because each asset is basically a world of additional assets, both on angles, characters, and objects.
And I will layer on top of that one of the uses we've seen is also being able to tell a story that goes through time by changing the age of the character through Flux. So you can have consistency or inconsistent consistency, let's call it that way, because you can tell it's the same character, but they look different because of their age. And then you have a much longer story timeline that you can use.
And now I can screen grab this moment. I'll bring it here. Here it is. And now I can do something like create a pack shot of this car in a studio, medium shot. So I create elements from scratch, and then I can iterate and use them however I want. With characters that are native to a certain location or anything else is very useful. So this is the car that didn't exist a minute ago. Now I have it as an element. I can manipulate the way I want to across any project.
Gotcha. So what you did is with the screen grab, and then you can immediately get this car out of it.
Yes.
That's such a creative use. And now we do have some questions that are coming from the chat. There's someone asking, is there a way to generate audio through prompting without relying on the stock options?
If we're talking about music, the current answer is by using the VO3 models. I could have right here rock music playing in the background or a sound effect. I don't think that's the best use of the credits because it's kind of a roulette for audio. So I would just import, if I don't want to use the stock options, I would just find another way to generate audio and import that into the project or whatever external software I'm working with.
Gotcha. And also, Brian's asking, can you also upload like audio Like, let's say a human voiceover?
Yes. So in the timeline, I would use the sound option and drag the voiceover file here. Drag sound file here. It's framed as sound as music, but I would use an uploaded voiceover here.
See. Oh, at the same time, Asaf, would you mind sending the link again? Because I think the Twitter link somehow doesn't work.
No problem. I mean,
Okay,
it seems
sure.
to work, I think, but should I send it to you or directly to the chat somehow? I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just want to make sure, can the link be open now? Let me see. Okay. And we do have one more questions coming in. Like, what is the maximum video resolution we can export?
So it's UHD, and with VO, it's up to 1080p.
And with different video model they choose, the
Yes.
resolution will be different, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
with LTX-V, you see there's no option here. It's just that with LTX-V, let's say we create this as a video without a keyframe. The car drives along the frame. The difference between VO3 and LTX-V here is that we have a native upscaler for LTX-V. Once it's ready, I'll show you. Or I can show you it on a previously here. Shots that were generated with LTX-V Turbo or LTX-V has additional functionality here. One of them is upscale. So it's upscale for LTX-V or choosing 1080 or 720 when using VO3 or VO3 fast.
And here come to our last question. So we want to ask, what's next for LTX Studio? Are there any upcoming features that you're currently developing that you might be able to share with us a little bit?
So I can hint, and I wouldn't want to spoil surprises. There's a lot going on with our in-house video model that we're not gonna talk about now, but super exciting things. We are focusing on better initiation for projects, better controls within a shot. It's all coming in the couple 2 weeks, and additional audio capabilities. So there's a lot to look forward to.
That sounds really, really exciting. Can't wait to see. And at the very last, I want to mention LTX is offering us like a 1-month pro plan for the Chroma Awards participants. And do you want to share a little bit about like what benefits do they get from this pro plan?
Do you mind if I take it or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Pro plan allows you to use the VO models which are not available, or VO3 model which isn't available in the standard plan. You're able to work with others or collaborate with others on your project if you want to. It gives you a commercial use license, allows you to export pitch decks, and gives you an unlimited amount of trained actors. So if you want to train an actor and maintain higher consistency by basically like similar to training a LoRa, absolutely possible. And I think one of the most important advantages is a lot of computing seconds, 110,000, which is enough for almost anything other than a whole video made with VO3.
Got it. Yeah, and thank you again for sponsoring us. And well, everyone, come on and redeem those codes and try to use LTX Studio and submit to our awards, and you will be one of our champions from LTX Studio, and you can compete for the awards.
And
Yes.
specifically, LTX has its own sponsor award. So for those who use LTX Studio in a really great and unique way, you're eligible for a
Hmm.
special award. You want to bring up that slide too, Davis? Like
Yeah.
cash prizes there.
And let me see. Yes. Okay. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Before we go, Maddie, do you have anything you want to mention?
You're talking to me, Maddie, right?
Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining our live stream, Tom, Asaf, Brian. We're gonna follow up in the Discord with ways you can connect to all of our guests.
Yes, and also you can definitely following them on their socials. Join the Discord link that were shared earlier in the chat. And towards the end, we want to remind you we are streaming again on Monday 7 p.m. and also Wednesday 12 p.m. We're doing this twice a week with our different amazing sponsors and different creatives. And thank you so much, Asaf, Tom, and Brian for joining us today, sharing with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Great to see you guys.
All right.
Introducing
Okay, so-
the Chroma Awards,
Oh, sorry.
a groundbreaking AI film, music, and games competition. Organized by the top companies and communities across tech, media, and entertainment, we are offering massive free trials and cash prizes to unite creatives across the world with tools, education, and real-world opportunities. Enter one of our 3 main divisions and submit your work to be judged by our expert jury. The Chroma Awards isn't just a competition, it's a movement. Our mission is to educate, empower, and spotlight the next generation of artists and showcase how AI can empower human creativity, not replace it. Join us today at chromaawards.com and help us push the boundary of creativity together.